Our goal was to show that the Pashtun youth of today is quite different than what people think it is. Even in Pakistan. Fast में एक लड़की मेरे पास आई and she's like, you do drugs, right? आप मुझे कह रहे हैं आप मिरासी हैं. भाई मैं नहीं हूँ मिरासी. मेरा वो level ही नहीं है अभी. My band members, between us we have 5 master's degrees.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to another episode of the NSJD show, Pakistan's first fitness and self-improvement podcast. आज मेरे साथ इस शो में पहले म्यूजिशियन मौजूद हैं who is a part of the band Khumariyaan. You must have heard of that band. So he is the lead guitarist and a percussionist as well as the main manager for the band. He is also an architect and very importantly, he is also very much into fitness and bodybuilding. तो मैंने सोचा कि इनको शो पे बुलाते हैं and let's get his thoughts around music, fitness and architecture as well as leading a very balanced life. So his name is Sparlay Rawail. Sparlay, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you doing?
I am well, thank you for having me.
No worries, thanks for coming. How are you feeling?
I feel good. It's been around 10-12 years since I've been doing interviews, so I feel right at home.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I hope this is not like an interview. It's supposed to be a conversation.
Yes, I even turned my interviews into conversations.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's all good.
So what does your name mean? I've always wondered.
It's a Pashtun name. It means spring, like the season. And, it ties into more of a political sort of it has a political meaning behind it, because when I was named, things weren't so good in KP.
Right.
And my parents thought that there is lots of poetry in Pashto where they say कि Sparlay kab aayega, because Peshawar used to be the city of flowers and it's not anymore, and they're thinking, when will our glorious time come back? So when they named me, when I grew up, I was like, yeah, no pressure, no. It's like naming your son Isa or Jesus or something, no.
Yeah.
You better be sure that they grow up to be someone special, not like a thief,
right,
burglar or a thief, yeah. So they named me Sparlay, yeah. And then Rawail means pool.
Oh,
yeah, sort of flower, yeah.
So we have something in common. So my name is the first day of spring in Iran.
Okay. Yes, Noroze, yes.
Yes. Great.
Yeah, no homo.
Yeah, just one thing. Say. So, yeah, let's start with your music journey.
Okay.
So I've been hearing about Khumariyaan for a long time. I've seen you guys play. Maybe we've shared a gig or two as well. I'm not sure about that.
Probably, yeah. Islamabad is very small.
Yeah. So, firstly, what does Khumariyaan mean, and what is the concept behind that?
Okay, so I wish I had a philosophical answer for you with Khumariyaan. It's very simple, and I think the simple things in life are the ones that make the most sense and reverberate the most with other people. We had the band, we just didn't have a name yet. We had one name, it was called Khumar, and then because our music was I wouldn't say it lacked structure. I would just say that it was sort of trance-like. We just kept playing and from one song to the next, and no breaks and go up, go down. So it was fairly interesting, and people would say कि हाँ बड़ा खुमार है ये है वो. And then there was another band called Khumar, and they said, hey, this is our name.
Oh.
So we said, okay, we're not one to create issues. It's just a name. So then we asked the fans, that you guys tell us what should our name be. So there's a Pashto song called Khumariyaan Ragali Dina Mirza Khana. So basically the song says that people who take you into a trance-like state, they have come. So bring your kitab and bring your chelam or whatever thing takes you into the trance. So they said Khumariyaan, we said okay. Because it's quintessentially Pashtun name. So we kept it. That's the story behind the band name. And then अब वो Khumariyaan है या Khumariyaan है, every province has its own pronunciation, but the correct way to say it is Khumariyaan.
Okay,
Khumariyaan,
noon instead of noon gunna.
Yes.
Khumariyaan.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
and you guys are all Pashtun?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main woe of it. That's the main part of it. It's a Pashtun boy band. We were called this we're not boys anymore, but when we started, that's what we were called. And it was at the back of everyone's minds that there is no female singer, or believe me, we tried. But it's not up to us, right? It's up to people and people's parents basically. That's a big thing in Pakistan. If the parents allow it.
Yeah.
So we tried. At some point, I even when I got married, I tried to teach my wife the percussion and dhol, and I thought I'd bring her on stage with me, but she's a doctor. It was just not working out, and we did do it a couple of times, but so long story short, it's 4 men, men now. Yeah.
4 men. So what are the instruments that you guys play?
Okay, we play a bunch of instruments. The main spine is the percussion instrument called the zir baghli. Zir baghli means zere baghal, play karna.
Acha.
So it's a percussion instrument, open from one end, जिसको ठुमकनारी भी कहते हैं अक्सर. तो और दरबुका, but it has more of a bassy sound.
Right.
And then उसको जो है हम लोग we place it in a way that it's in between your legs and you sit and you play it. So that's my bandmate his name is Shiraz. He plays that. Then we have rabab and pashtun sehtar. For 10 years we played rabab. Rabab is the most well-known pashtun instrument there is. 1,000-year-old history, predecessor to the guitar, all that stuff. Completely handmade and everything. 10 years ago, it was very hard for rabab makers and stuff, and because the rabab had a class aspect to it. People always thought that the lower class people or used to play these folk instruments, used to play wo hain. And then even if you were an engineer or a doctor who had a sense of belief that your culture and you need to take it forward and you need to play and you need to just express yourself through this instrument, people wouldn't come forward and say that they used to play. When we started playing, we made it, we said that okay, we're going to bring the rabab back into this. We have to remove this stigma it has that sirf charsi bhangi rabab play karte hain and all that stuff. So for 10 years we played that, and I can confidently say we brought it back. Everyone knows what the rabab is now. Everyone plays it, wo fakhar se batate hain. And that's Farhan, he plays the rabab. And then we have pashtun sehtar. It's a long, big chitrali setar. That's the easiest way I can tell you. But the pashtun setar is bigger, it has more strings, and it has a very nice sound. So these are our folk instruments. And then one more is the Bannu dhol. Bannu ke ilake ka ek dhol hota hai. It's slightly smaller than the Punjabi dhol, and I play that. वो जब हम सही सुर में होते हैं, आखिर में एंड में percussion jam वगैरह करने आते हैं, put the dhol on and we play. And then to complement all these instruments, एक हम visually भी एक हमने वो किया हुआ है. Even when we play on stage, you'll see एक गिटार लेफ्ट पे है, एक गिटार राइट पे है, बिकॉज इस सारे को कंटेन करने के लिए और उसको एक बैकग्राउंड देने के लिए अच्छा सा we have 2 guitars. Now why do we have 2 guitars? Because one is a nylon stringer and the other is a steel string, because the rabab has both strings. So rabab has steel strings and nylon. So you need to have a very solid rhythm section in the back, because the rabab is a melodic instrument. So melody means you can hear every single note. We don't have a singer, so the rabab does the singing for us. So left right guitars, and then we try to sing. We shout. But I mean, so these are the instruments that we play. Yeah.
Right. And you guys are four,
yes.
Right.
Yeah. Been 4 forever. Yeah.
Right. And so how do you decide that, so you play lead guitars as well as percussions, right? So how do you decide that, okay, abhi lead guitars ka time hai, abhi percussions ka time? Does it all depend on your set list and the songs that you have there?
It just comes to you. The guitar is being played throughout. And like I said, हमारा जो म्यूज़िक का स्टाइल है, फोक रॉक स्टाइल, जो ट्रांस स्टाइल है, उसमें ये होता है कि you need to have crescendos and diminuendos, which means that you need to really like up the tempo, and then you bring it back down again. So maybe you take out one instrument, maybe you take out another instrument. That way people just get a थोड़ा सांस लेने का time मिलता है, and then they recuperate, they get ready again, and then you bring everything back. So these are basic concepts in music where and then it's for us to decide. So with Khumariyaan, we feed off the energy of the crowd. So if we see that you guys are like उनको आपको बड़ा मज़ा आ रहा है, हम रुकते नहीं हैं. So the song might go on for 10 minutes, as opposed to someone who has a very set list and पक्के म्यूजिशियन है और उन्होंने पीछे मेट्रोनोम भी लगाया हुआ है और वो मतलब है कि बस इतना ही बजाएंगे, इतने बार ये है, इतने बार ये है, इतने बार ये है. वो उसका एक अपना मज़ा है. लेकिन जब तुम्हारे सामने कोई धमाल कर रहा होता है और वो नाच रहे और एकदम से someone who's older and commands respect among all the crowd and they come in dancing, you can't stop, right? You have to extend, you have to let them dance and you have to let them have that moment. तो उसमें फिर ये होता है कि हम लोग जो है we just keep, the direction the set takes is completely dependent on the crowd. That's what's fairly well known about Khumariyaan.
Yeah, that is.
So that's how we decide कि किस वक्त क्या बजना चाहिए.
हाँ, a lot of that is improv. You guys.
That's the word, yeah.
Yeah.
We completely do improv. और ये इसमें ये नहीं है कि पक्के म्यूजिशियन improv नहीं करते. You have to be a पक्का musician to do improv.
Exactly.
Then it has to make sense. And funny fact is that a lot of our qawwali music is also improv based. So if you hear live sessions of different qawwals at different venues, you'll realize एक वही कवाली 11 मिनट की है तो वही कवाली 8 मिनट की है तो वही कवाली 10 मिनट की है, because there's no way they're gonna do the sargam and their improv similar to the previous one.
Yeah.
So वो हमने थोड़ा सा हमने विरसा वहाँ से भी थोड़ा सा उठाया है, but mainly is because we're having fun on stage. So that's इसके पीछे कोई खास वो नहीं है. Yeah.
I think this is your USP, right? Like you don't have a set list. You don't have कि हाँ ये गाना 3 मिनट का है, 4 मिनट का है. It all depends on your mood, the crowd's mood, and माहौल क्या बना हुआ है, उस हिसाब से आप लोग चलते हो.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
And you can't guarantee कि हमारे जो हम 30 मिनट के लिए बजाएंगे
नहीं,
ये वो करना पड़ता है.
Yeah, it depends on the client.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do draw the line. Sometimes people ask for things which are not possible. I mean, it's a pashtun band, so we're gonna play pashtun music, right? So थोड़ा सा niche हो जाता है, but funnily enough, wherever we go, लोग नाचते हैं, लोग खुश होते हैं, लोगों को मज़ा आता है. It's a lot of entertainment and plus we love being on stage. हमें no matter what the mood is in the background, when we come on stage, we all 4 of us really enjoy playing music. So they also feed off of us as well, and then we feed off them as well. And then the reason behind that is that I know musicians are going to listen to this and they're going to say कि यार ये क्या बोल रहा है. But we don't, हम like jam room में बैठ के jam नहीं करते. Khumariyaan doesn't jam.
Okay.
We jam on stage. And I know this is might be like sacrilegious और कि मतलब अच्छा आप लोग मतलब बैठ के वो चप्पल उतार के बाहर और कॉर्पोरेट वाले कमरे में जाके अंदर बंद में हम डिसाइड नहीं करते कि ये करना है वो करना है, ड्रम्स ऐसे होंगे वैसे होंगे. दैट्स अ सेपरेट थिंग, उसका अपना एक मज़ा है. दैट्स नॉट हाउ वी डू इट. We do it differently, we do it on stage, and that's why we enjoy it. So if you rehearse something 10 times before doing it, how much fun are you going to have on stage, right?
It's stressful.
If you do it long enough, it's not that stressful. And then it leaves room for me enjoying some rabab melody that I've not heard before. And he's played it for the first time and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. And then post show I'll say, okay, remember that you played? Yeah, let's work on it a little bit. And 5-10 minutes, it's very instinct based. And then if you like something instinct based, तो वो उस पे काम करना बनता है. Not because you have to do it. I feel that jam room ये होता है ना कि अच्छा इतने बजे आना है और jam room हमें 2 घंटे के लिए मिलेगा और उसमें हमने creativity करनी है. Doesn't work that way sometimes. So everyone has their own way of doing it. This is how we do it. Yeah.
And it's really interesting that you mentioned that you guys are having fun on stage, and I think that's why people have fun. वो जब देखते हैं ना कि यार ये तो मस्त हुआ है बजाने में, तो वो वाइब पे they feed off of that vibe, और वो खुद भी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता मस्त होना शुरू हो जाते हैं.
हाँ, शुरू में इस तरह था कि हम लोगों को देख के मस्त होते थे.
अच्छा.
अब हम जो है ना we realized कि there is no way कि आप सबको खुश कर सकते हैं, right? तो we just have fun on stage. And then वो एक honesty है कि बस हमें तो मज़ा आ रहा है. And then मैं बोलता भी हूँ स्टेज से. पाकिस्तान में थोड़ा सा ये है कि you have to push people a little bit to start, थोड़ा सा शुरू करने में. And then you tell them कि भाई हम तो महीने में 4 बार 8 बार 10 बार यही करते हैं, हमें तो बड़ा मज़ा आता है. आप भी enjoy कर ले, आपका इवेंट है, आप भी आए हुए हैं, तो you should have fun. That's what gets them going.
Yeah.
And then if I can't do it, then Farhan जो है, my other bandmate, he's very good in वो देसी स्टाइल में ना उनको ज़रा ओए आ जाओ यार क्या हो गया तुम लोगों को, बैठे हो क्या, बूढ़े हो, ये हो गया वो हो गया, खाना खा लिया बस तुम लोग बैठ गए हो. That gets them going. तो पश्तो म्यूज़िक पे भी जो है ना लोग बड़ा ज़बरदस्त डांस करते हैं, बिकॉज फोक म्यूज़िक इज़ समथिंग दैट एवरीवन कैन रिलेट टू. मोस्ट पीपल जो इस्लामाबाद आए, इस्लामाबाद तो 50s में बना है, एंड देन it's not, there are very few people who can say I am from Islamabad, right? तो most people come from some sort of background जो folk music उन्होंने सुना होता है शादियों पे, यहाँ पे, वहाँ पे. That's what gets you going. And most pop stars, you'll check that even rock stars in the end of their Pakistani rock stars भी end of their set they'll do Lal Shahbaz Qalandar and Lal Meri Pat, and उस पे फिर लोग बिल्कुल ही, there's a reason they have that in the end.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll go to Natif Aslam concert and I'll listen to Lal Meri Pat. And then I'll go to a Lezmat concert next day, and I'll again listen to Lal. And then I'll go to a Qawwali, and then I'll again listen to it in the end. So there is something to be said about the effect that folk music has on people, and that's what we try to replicate.
And every time they do it, they're like extending it and improv कर रहे हैं उस पे.
यही तो सारा मज़ा है. तो हम यही करते हैं.
Right.
हमारी कोशिश ये होती है कि हम जो ओरिजिनल कॉम्पोजिशन बनाते हैं, उसकी जो बैकबोन हो, वो जो उसका जो बीट है, जो उसका परकशन एलिमेंट है, वो फोक म्यूजिक में हो. इजी टू फॉलो, मेक्स यू वांट टू डू सम फोक डांस, एंड इट्स प्रीटी गुड. तो मतलब I've been told it's pretty good.
yeah. नहीं, it is because you've built quite an audience. तो when you guys started off, was it like a hobby कि यार चलो बैठ के जैम करते हैं? इस तरह था कि कुछ था ज़हन में कि कुछ करना है?
There was a sense of responsibility, थोड़ी बहुत थी, कि एक स्टेरियोटाइप है पश्तून होने का, एक स्टेरियोटाइप है आर्टिस्ट होने का. I remember I played in Fast this one time, and this was before I started working out. I used to have long hair, and it's a quintessential, like it's the stereotype musician, right? पतला लंबे बाल, you know, jeans पहनी हुई है, बस आ गए. And then I remember Fast में एक लड़की मेरे पास आई, and she's like, you do drugs, right? And I'm like, excuse me? And she said that, nah, you're a musician, so you must do drugs. Then a couple of people came to my रबाब player. इस तरह कोई उन्होंने बात की कि अच्छा आप तो माहौल बनाते हैं, या कुछ तरह कोई बात हुई. And then there is a very famous story in Peshawar that friend of mine gifted a रबाब to another friend, and उसके वाले साहब ने रबाब तोड़ दिया कि भाई ये तो उनका मरासियों का इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, और ये है और वो है. And then we had an idea, we used to listen to Ari Bazar when he used to say कि मिरासी लफ्ज़ जो है उसका मतलब है मीरास, आपकी मीरास आगे ले जाने वाला. मीरास is your culture, your heritage.
अच्छा.
Anyone who takes your heritage forward is a mirasi, right? So if you call me a mirasi, I'm not worthy of the title. Because I don't have khandani education in music, right? I cannot be called a mirasi. आप मुझे, it's like saying कि if अगर bodybuilding में आ जाए, तो if you're an amateur and someone says to you कि आप IFBB pro हैं, you're not. It's like saying कि IFBB pro तो मतलब आप गाली दे रहे हैं किसी को, right? But if you call someone IFBB pro, it means उन्होंने एक टाइम दिया है, इन्होंने अपनी ज़िंदगी का मेजर चंक इस चीज़ को दी है, right? आप मुझे कह रहे हैं आप मिरासी, भाई मैं नहीं हूँ मिरासी, मेरा वो लेवल ही नहीं है अभी. तो हमें ये बातें, इन बातों का आइडिया था, प्लस हमें इस बात का भी आइडिया था कि पश्तो म्यूज़िक स्टैटिक था बहुत टाइम से. गाने बनते तो सिर्फ ऐसे, दे वर वेरी वल्गर और वेरी बैडली रिकॉर्डेड. तो एक वक्त था कि दे यूज्ड टू हैव सम रियली गुड म्यूज़िक बैक इन द डे, कमिंग फ्रॉम अफगानिस्तान. इधर इवन यहाँ पे भी काफ़ी अच्छा मौसीकी बजती थी पश्तो की, लेकिन वो मज़ा नहीं आ रहा था. लाइक NSJD जा रहा है गाड़ी में, राइट, और वो अपने पश्तून दोस्तों को सुनाता है, भाई ये देखो मैं तुम्हें सुनाता हूँ आतिफ, मैं तुम्हें शमून इस्माइली खाना सुनाता हूँ, ठीक है, क्लिक पेस्ट, वेरी क्लियर, एक एक लफ्ज़ की आपको समझ आ रही है, सब फिट है. स्पर्ले बैठा है आपके साथ गाड़ी में, और मेरे पास कोई गाने नहीं आपको सुनाने के लिए कि मेरे इलाके का म्यूज़िक है, तो मैं क्या सुनाऊँ आपको, बीबी श्री सुनाऊँ? कम ऑन मैन, इट्स 15 साल हो गए बीबी श्री गाना रिकॉर्ड हुआ हुआ. इट्स अ नाइस सॉन्ग, आई गेट इट, but there's more. There's more than Lal Shape Khawarta, there's more than Bibi Shiri, there's more than Lal Meri Pat, you know. And at the same time, it's it has, you know, you have to base your music in them as well. So you can't move away, but you can't, you know, you can't just say कि बस यही है, right? So we thought that properly recorded, properly presented is something जो बिल्कुल नहीं है, उस फियर में था ही नहीं. My band members, between us we have 5 master's degrees and I don't have one. So 2 of them have 2 each.
Wow.
One of them has an MBA and then I'm only a bachelor's, right? I'm the only one with a formal education in music. For 2 years, मैंने सिर्फ I learned and we figured that was enough to figure out कि गिटार को रबाब के साथ किस तरह
अच्छा आपकी कहाँ एजुकेशन थी म्यूजिक की?
इधर ही F10 मरकज़ में एक दुकान होती थी, अब नहीं है.
एक होती थी ऊपर जो होती थी.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
one. So I've never had the opportunity to talk about my teachers on a podcast. I had Suhaib Aslam. He used to be in a band called Lahu. Lahu was a tribute band to Junoon.
Yes, yes.
And then after him was Umran. Umran was full. If you looked at him, you would think it was Satriani hai, matlab he had ganja and then he had a ponytail in the back. Achha. And he was the one who taught me like a lot of rock music. And so my initial year or so was Suhaib Aslam. He introduced me to Vital Signs and the Pakistani scene basically. And then Umran took me away and towards Metallica, Iron Maiden.
Is this the
Steve
Umran
Vai.
in Coke Studio?
No, that's Imran. That's Momo. वो different है. This is the different Umran.
Okay,
He's a full-on rocker. वो I don't know. I think he was put in Islamabad to meet me only because he came, chilled out a couple of years, taught some music and then left and then just played abroad as well. So he was the full rock star lifestyle, matlab uska, the way he looked and everything. So I got the best of both. And I had enough to know to realize how the rabab works and how there were other people who were doing it, but we really stuck to it. So that was good. कॉर्ड स्ट्रक्चर्स बराबर करना, ये करना, वो करना, टाइमिंग्स वगैरह, तो वो हो गया. सो जो प्रेजेंटेशन की मैं बात कर रहा था कि प्रेजेंट किस तरह करना है पश्तो म्यूज़िक को यहाँ बाहर, तो वी हैड अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जहन पे था. एंड एट द सेम टाइम एज वेल पीपल जस्ट लव्ड आवर म्यूज़िक, तो वी जस्ट केप्ट प्लेइंग एंड आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जस्ट थिंग्स स्टार्टेड हैपनिंग फॉर अस. तो वी जस्ट स्टक टू इट एंड वी एंजॉयड एंड वी डिडंट गो आफ्टर इट लाइक we didn't run after Lux style awards कि हम after party पे जाएंगे तो वहाँ जाके कोने में खड़े होंगे या किसी से बात करेंगे. Not that they invite us, but it's not like we actively.
Yeah, that wasn't your goal.
No, it wasn't. Our goal was to show that the Pashtun youth of today is quite different than what people think it is, even in Pakistan. And when you go abroad, it's a different ball game because वहाँ पे तुमको लगता है कि पता नहीं कौन लोग हैं और किस तरह क्या बात होगी क्या नहीं होगा. And वहाँ पे when you present your music and then you're able to tell them about the instrument as well कि भाई ये इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, ये इसकी हिस्ट्री है, इतना बजाया है हमने और पश्तून ऐसे भी होते हैं. ठीक है, दुम्बा है, ट्रक आर्ट है, बंदूक है, I understand. But now there's like you guys will be shocked, your listeners will be really interested in this. 70% of Coke Studios videos have been edited in Peshawar.
Acha.
Yes. So they shoot them and the editing is done in Peshawar. We have fantastic cinematographers. We have people working for Google. It's based in Peshawar.
Right.
We have people making apps. We have an incubation center. We have a whole bunch of stuff in Peshawar. So excellent cinematographers, excellent videographers, like मतलब हर एक तरह का आपको बंदा वहाँ पे अब मिलता है, राइट. तो वो जो एक स्टीरियोटाइप था कि अच्छा यार ये किस तरह का शहर है, पता नहीं क्या करते हैं, वो हमें आइडिया था कि इसको थोड़ा सा ख़त्म करना है किस तरीके से. तो देयर वाज छोटा मोटा था, बट इट वाज मोस्टली अबाउट हैविंग फन एंड क्रिएटिंग गुड म्यूज़िक एंड देन जस्ट फ्रेंडशिप एंड ब्रदरहुड एंड गपशप. तो वो आई कांट टेल यू कब वो स्विच हुआ फ्रॉम हैविंग प्रॉपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी from just having fun. But I think हम शुरू से हमें आइडिया था कि थोड़ा सा इसको एक हमारे ऊपर थोड़ी सी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है और उसको पूरी करनी है.
तो मेरा एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि now I understand why you made the band, how you make your music and all that. Now this is something that's very new for people of Islamabad. हमारे जो burger boys हैं and all, उनके लिए ये चीज़ बहुत न्यू है, folk music and the way you guys improv and all that. तो how did you build this audience जो कि जाते हैं कहीं, for example since you use the word trance, जाते हैं रेव में पार्टी करने जाते हैं and all that, किसी कॉन्सर्ट पे गए हैं तो वैसे ही अगर कोई थोड़ी हेडबैंगिंग होगी, थोड़ा छोकरों को लगा लिया चले गए, तो उन लोगों को how did you get your music to appeal to those and the people around them and people of different ages, and उनमें आपने कैसे वो डाला आपके लोग इंटरेस्ट डाला in your music?
I think if you do something for 10 years एंड यू डू इट ऑनेस्टली, तो इवेंचुअली एक ऑडियंस बन जाती है. दूसरा, इस्लामाबाद पश्तूनों का है. वी हैव मैसिव पॉपुलेशन हियर इन इस्लामाबाद, जिसमें पश्तून बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. ऑल ऑफ द डॉक्टर्स इन मोस्ट हॉस्पिटल्स आर पश्तून. तो एंड अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स स्टडीइंग हियर आर आल्सो पश्तून, और एटलीस्ट हैव अ बैकग्राउंड. दूसरा ये कि जो आपके बर्गर बॉयज़ हैं, बर्गर बॉयज़ पैदा तो यहीं पे हुए हैं, और अगर ख़ुद नहीं हुए तो उनके वालिदैन तो यहीं पैदा हुए हैं. एंड आवर म्यूज़िक रेजोनेट्स विद देयर पेरेंट्स because it's not too different from what they used to hear. And their parents, if they were slightly open-minded or progressive, they would think that, okay, we need someone who can present our culture in what they believe is a more cultured way, is a different package, I guess. Imagery thodi different. So I think when एंड देन वही बात इन ये पेरेंट्स के थ्रू इनके बच्चों में भी आई थिंक ट्रांसफ़र होती है कि मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो मिलता है ना कोई वो मिलता है, कोई ना कुछ कहानी मिलती है कि अच्छा हमने यहाँ वो किया, हमने वो किया. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू गो टू अ वेडिंग, राइट? आप पश्तून शादी हो या पंजाब की शादी हो, ढोल हमेशा बजता है. आजकल जो है वो डीजेस भी आते हैं, बट since ever I can remember it was only ढोल और उर्दू म्यूज़िक एंड उर्दू गाने ये वो. तो देयर इज़ अ होल जनरेशन जो कि इस पे बड़ी हुई है, ढोल पे और फोक म्यूज़िक पे. तो हमेशा उनके अंदर, उनको ना ही पता हो, तो मुझे ये फीलिंग, आई फील दैट मे बी उनके अंदर होता है, बिकॉज वो सुनते हैं 10-12 साल अनकॉन्शियसली, सबकॉन्शियसली वो सुन रहे होते हैं घर पे. तो अपने कज़न्स से, अपने दोस्तों से, यहाँ से वहाँ से सुन रहे होते हैं. फिर यहाँ के इलाके में ना एक हमारे म्यूज़िक में एक झोल है. झोल is a kind of the tempo of the music is, you can say कि वो across different genres वो same है, right? So there's a specific metronome जो कि I can't explain it. It's just that it's not complex, right? The meters you can divide into simple mathematics, and if it's simple it can be amplified, because simple जब complex होता है amplify करते हैं उसको, आप और चीज़ें डालते हैं, लवाज़मात डालते हैं, वो becomes a bit murky और muddy. Simple is ये नोट है, ये टेम्पो है, इसको जितना मर्जी वॉल्यूम दो, सुनाई हमेशा देगा, right? And then सुनाई देता का मतलब है कि पाँव हिलेगा, कंधे हिलेंगे, बीट होगी. कुछ देखा देखी पश्तूनों को देख के वो करते हैं. मैं NCA में when I was in NCA, when I did my degree in architecture from NCA पिंडी कैंपस, बाय द टाइम आई हैड ग्रेजुएटेड, हमारे जितने भी बैचेस थे, पश्तून, पंजाबी, कोयटा से लोग, गिलगित से लोग, सिंधी, एवरीवन वाज डूइंग अ तरण बाय द एंड ऑफ इट, बिकॉज वो एक यू मेक अ बिग सर्कल एंड आल्सो द अपील ऑफ डांसिंग टुगेदर इज़ अ वेरी बेसिक ह्यूमन नीड, जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है. This is just my opinion. And when Pashtuns are doing it, and they're doing it in unison, उसका एक अपना एक ट्रांस है, उसका अपना एक मज़ा है. लोग कहते हैं हमने भी करना है. And it's not just here. When we're doing a taran abroad even, people from all ethnicities, they want to join because it has a flow to it, or they like the flow. It's attractive the way it जिस तरह present करते हैं, मतलब वो एक है. Or I'm biased towards Pashtun music, I don't know, or Pashtun dance, but I love seeing traditional Punjabi dance. I mean, I think it's fantastic, but I also think that it's much more developed than Atarn, right? So you have to do a lot of practice. With Atarn, it's like दिन में 2 दिन में सीख लिया और बस फिर लगे रहो, right? It's a lot of fun. So I think that's part of the appeal, and then it's simple, it's folk, and then you just keep at it. तो उसमें जो है ना आपका I think चल जाता है. दूसरा ये guitar helps. Guitar really helps. यही रबाब मंगे जो है कब से बज रहा है और वो फील नहीं आ रही. When you put the guitar in, थोड़ा सा बीच में थोड़ा सा सोलो आ गया, थोड़ा सा पीछे कोई इफेक्ट, कोई इंटरेस्टिंग सा. So my most, the band which I like the most is Pink Floyd. And आजकल जो है I don't know people listen to it or not, मेरे एज के लोग तो सुनते ही हैं, but Pink Floyd is called progressive rock, prog rock. तो a lot of elements जो कि atmospheric music होता है और जो rave techno music आता है, उसके जो effects हैं वो काफ़ी similar हैं to prog rock. And वो जब आप डालते हैं थोड़ा सा folk music में साथ में, तो ये this is what gets made. There was always space for this in Pakistan. सुप्रीम इश्क के नाम से एक एल्बम आई थी, शुएब मंसूर ने आई थिंक रिलीज़ की थी. एंड उसमें द म्यूज़िक वाज फोक, वेल प्रोड्यूस्ड, लिरिक्स फोक, एंड इट हैड दैट वाइब, दैट लाउंजी म्यूज़िक, दैट सिंथ पैड्स एंड ऑल दैट. एंड देन कोक स्टूडियो सीजन 1, व्हेन दे रियलाइज्ड कि जो नियो एथनिक की जगह है अब पाकिस्तान की म्यूज़िक में, उन्होंने जब उसको थोड़ा टैप किया तो रियलाइज़ कि अच्छा अब ये है. कोक स्टूडियो इज़ ऑल न्यू एथनिक. अब आके वो थोड़ा सा चेंज हो रहा है, बट फॉर द फर्स्ट 3-4 सीजन्स इट वाज जस्ट ज़बरदस्त. मतलब अब नाउ यू सी पीपल कि भाई मैंने पेशावरी चप्पल भी पहननी है, और प्रीमियम पेशावर चप्पल का सिस्टम भी आ गया है, और मतलब बड़े बड़े ब्रांड्स आ गए हैं. और अब जो है ना, मैंने प्रॉपर वुलन शॉल भी पहननी है बॉयज़, और मैंने कोलापुरी भी पहननी है मैंने ये. सो इट्स कमिंग बैक द एथनिक. आई थिंक देयर इज़ जो पोस्ट कलोनियल एक वो था, वो थोड़ा सा ख़त्म हो रहा है. पीपल नाउ एंजॉइंग देयर ओन कल्चर एंड एथनिक, जो उनकी हिस्ट्री है, देयर एंजॉइंग इट मोर. एंड वही बात है कि उसको थोड़ा सा सेट करके आपने दिखाना है. तो आप मतलब जो भी गाने, अब the most famous song from Pakistan is now in Punjabi. It's called Pasudi, right? It's in Punjabi, and Punjabi is, they don't teach it in schools.
Yeah.
And in private schools, if they catch you speaking Punjabi or Pashto, वो मना करते हैं. How do you justify कि दुनिया का सबसे वेल नोन गाना पाकिस्तानियों को पंजाबी में है, but you can't speak Punjabi? तो ये इसके ऊपर बात करना और इसको सामने लाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. दैट्स व्हाई वी स्टक टू फोक म्यूजिक. हालांकि लिरिक्स नहीं है, बट द सेम थिंग अप्लाइज टू इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स एज वेल.
Yeah, so the goal that you had in mind for Pashtun, the Pashtun heritage, you're saying that वो चीज़ थोड़ी replicate हो रही है, और चीज़ों में भी पंजाबी में थोड़ी replicate हो रही है.
नो, आई थिंक हमसे पहले ट्रेल ब्लेजर्स थे.
अच्छा.
फहाद अमायूं का बैंड था ओवरलोड, and he brought in drums with dhol.
Yeah.
And his album was absolutely fantastic. But it was a stepping stone for people like us, because people knew कि there is something to it, right? There's कुछ बात है इस music में, but they never treated it like pop music, because it wasn't. But it set the tone. Then there's someone like Mikal Hassan. वो जो है, it's a completely, वो again it's he has the best of both Pakistani worlds. He has the lyrics and the classical style of singing, but it's full on, rock. It's not even metal. It's like the music is more rock heavy. And so we had these people doing it in Punjabi. There was no one who was doing it in Pashto. So we thought, okay, we'll stick to it. And as long as we did a couple of case studies. We looked at vital signs, Junoon, Jal, Kayas. I'll go down the list of all the bands जिनके singer छोड़ के चले गए और band टूट गए. तो because they wanted solo careers. So we thought, okay, singer नहीं होगा तो देखते हैं कितना आगे इसको लेके जा सकते हैं. तो we've जितनी हमने हिम्मत की है without a singer, I think it's commendable. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the question that I had in my mind, कि आपने जो audience build किया, that's without a singer. तो वो कैसे किए, especially इस्लामाबाद में, किस तरह की वो audience? क्योंकि I'll give you an example that there was once you guys had a gig in my company's annual dinner. तो मैं late हो गया था. मैं जब तक आया था, you guys were off stage.
Okay.
So everyone was telling me कि यार अभी खुमारियान आए थे on stage और ना बड़ा fit कर रहे थे. And there was this older guy like in his 40s. He was telling me यार खुमारियान आए और बड़ा मज़ा आया ना. तो मैं उनको देख रहा हूँ और मैं कह रहा हूँ कि यार आपको समझ आया था वो क्या बजा रहे हैं? तो ही सेड कि यार नहीं, बहुत मज़ा आया, तूने मिस कर दिया. तो देन उस वक्त मुझे हुआ था कि यार ये जो है ये सबको अपील कर रहा है इनके म्यूजिक ना. तो इनको लाइक दे फिगर्ड इट आउट.
Yeah, it's fine. I pride myself on giving people entertainment and maza, and I think because in Peshawar there was a time के there was a lot of militancy, और उस वक्त हमें हमारे जहन में ये था कि अच्छा even if हम 10 मिनट के लिए भी लोगों को थोड़ा आराम दे दें तो वो तो मतलब हमारा काम पूरा है, और वो 10 मिनट किस तरह मैक्सिमाइज़ करना हमें पता है उसका. एंड we were the first band to play after APS. What happened in APS in Peshawar, we were the first band to play. And you would think that the people were mourning, or the people were not okay. And of course, the parents, the parents will never come to a show, or I understand that. But the whole city was mourning. And there was a sense that they needed some release, they needed something, they needed a sign of life. And when we played, it was tremendous. It was a very surreal gig. Because समझ नहीं आ रही थी कि रोएं या हंसें या क्या हो रहा है, बट दे वांटेड अस देयर. तो हमने उस वक्त रियलाइज़ कर लिया था कि यार अच्छा डेवलपिंग कंट्री है, पीपल आर डूइंग 9 to 5s एंड जॉइंट फैमिली सिस्टम भी है, तो हर तरह की टेंशन यहाँ पे लोगों को होती है. तो उससे अगर थोड़ा रिलीज़ मिलता है आधे घंटे का, तो उसको मैक्सिमाइज़ करना है. तो वो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि वो करें. और लाइक आई सेड, सिंगर्स, if anyone's seen us play, हम लाइन में खड़े होकर प्ले करते हैं. So ना पीछे है, ना कोई आगे है, ना कोई वो है. I'll ask your audience members if they can tell me the name of the guitar player of Sajad Ali or Atif Aslam or any pop star. I mean, ठीक है, if you're like first hand friends with them, that's fine, but you're not going to read their names in the media. They're not getting ads, they're not getting drama, they're not getting roles or stuff like that. They're just in the background somewhere. That was problematic towards us, to us. And I've seen how what the musicians get paid per show, they don't get paid much. And even though they'll be helping out in compositions and they have a real presence on stage and everything, we felt that the only way this can work is if all 4 of us got equal limelight, and it's been working. तो सिंगर का ये है कि समटाइम्स हम एक ऑन रोटेशन एक सिंगर ले आते हैं अगर कोई गिग में हमें ज़रूरत पड़ती है, तो पश्तो म्यूज़िक हो, कोई भी म्यूज़िक हो गया. बट हम कोशिश करते हैं कि इट्स मोर अबाउट द म्यूज़िक rather than the singer or their personality or their stardom, right, or stuff like that. Yeah.
So would you say right now that your genre is a little more evolved from folk? Because you mentioned Pink Floyd in the middle. By the way, you mentioned that their music is prog, but isn't prog different? उसमें like odd times और वो चीज़ें होती हैं, complex होता है.
Yeah, Pink Floyd is very complex and odd. Pink Floyd's music is very odd timed and odd complex, and वो बात ठीक है आपकी, but जो उसका पीछे एक माहौल चलता है ना, जो एक वाइब है, जो एम्बियंस है, उसकी मैं ज़्यादा बात कर रहा था.
Right.
And you said कि
so what would you say कि your genre right now, is it folk or is it like
I think it's folk rock. It's ideal to call it folk rock because the visual aspect of it as well. We rock out on stage, a lot of fun. You won't see the rababi jumping up and down and playing music and first we used to sit in a line, चारों बैठ के play करते थे. Personally, I like that more. लेकिन उसमें ये था कि if I'm playing and I'm really into it, तो वो I would be just it would be like a madman sitting in a seat and कि उसको बिठाया हुआ है कि तुम इस सीट से उठ नहीं सकते, right? वो भी सही नहीं है, right? And then एक responsibility है कि अगर आप you coming from a particular sort of family or particular sort of background और pashtun हैं आप, तो you have to act a certain way, which I thought is hypocritical. Music is music. How come it's not like हम कमीज़ें उतार रहे हैं स्टेज पे या गिटार तोड़ रहे हैं या कुछ कर रहे हैं. we're just enjoying what we're playing. तो वो जो थोड़े शैकल्स थे उससे थोड़ा सा हम टूटे, हम खड़े हो गए सारे. we all दो खड़े थे पहले, दो खड़े हो गए लेफ्ट राइट गिटार प्लेयर्स. then we thought okay why should बाबी क्यों बैठा रहे, उसको भी थोड़ा मज़ा आना चाहिए खेलना. बेचारा जो शिराज है वो ही हैज़ टू सिट एंड प्ले बिकॉज उसका पूरा सेटअप ड्रम सेटअप होता है एंड ही लव्स टू डांस. वो बेचारा बट ही कांट, कोई सिस्टम ही नहीं है. तो वो एंड देन हमने डांस पे इनकॉर्पोरेट किया. आमिर एंड आई समटाइम्स ब्रेक इनटू अ टर्न एज वेल जस्ट टू एजुकेट पीपल एंड ऑल्सो हैव फन एज वेल. तो जो रॉक एलिमेंट है वो इस तरह इसमें फिर आ जाता है.
सही.
तो फोक म्यूजिशियंस अक्सर काफ़ी हम्बल और नीचे बैठ के ज़मीन पे प्ले करते हैं, विच इज़ द एलिमेंट जो हम पहले शुरू में था. बट नाउ इट्स मोर फोक रॉक बिकॉज आई थिंक पीपल देयर इज स्पेस फॉर इट. पीपल, आपने कहा ना, एनर्जी होती है व्हेन यू गिव एनर्जी टू गेट एनर्जी. So I think it's easier to do it if you're standing up and having fun. Yeah.
So tell me about you mentioned कि ना किसी गिग पे ऐसे होता है कि अक्सर होता है कि the pashtoons they start to understand the music और वो कतर में आ गए and फिर उनको फॉलो करना शुरू हो गए. But tell me कि कोई ऐसा इंस्टेंस हुआ हो जिसमें मे बी क्राउड में पश्तून्स ना हो या मे बी कोई बहुत ही कॉर्पोरेट प्रॉपर इवेंट हो. बेसिकली आई एम आस्किंग यू व्हाट वाज योर वर्स्ट गिग? What happened?
Okay. So my worst fear is that people have a bias towards me and my music and they don't listen to it. Or they मतलब कि वो आपस में बातें कर रहे हों और you know like मतलब मुझे स्पेस ना दें to present what I'm playing. खाना खोल देंगे बीच में, इस तरह की चीज़ें होंगी. बट माई वर्स्ट फियर इज़ कि मुझे प्रेजेंट करने का मौका ही ना मिले, राइट? कि पीछे बैकग्राउंड में इस तरह को पॉलिटिक्स चल रही हो कि मैं चढ़ूँ स्टेज पे तो लोग ही ना हों. तो दैट वाज माई वर्स्ट केक, आवर वर्स्ट केक. सो व्हाट हैपेंड वाज दैट वी वर सपोज्ड टू प्ले इन वी प्लेड हियर फॉर अ बैंक, फुल कॉर्पोरेट, एंड दे एब्सोल्युटली अडोर्ड इट, दे लव्ड इट, एंड दे सेड कि हम आपको, हमारा दुबई में शो है, 10 दिन में शो है, आपने आके प्ले करना है. मैंने कहा ठीक है, पैसे बताए, हाँ ठीक है, कोई मसला नहीं, नो वरीज. दुबई में देयर वाज अ कंपनी एंड दे weren't happy with calling someone from Pakistan to play. They had their own thing and उन्होंने किया हुआ था, उन्होंने कहा था, they just basically tried to sabotage the whole thing. पहले उन्होंने कहा कि हम तुम्हें वीज़ा नहीं दे सकते दुबई का वीज़ा, तो मतलब इट्स लाइक कम ऑन मैन, वीज़े नहीं हो रहे. अच्छा, रिजेक्ट हो गया वीज़ा, रिजेक्ट हो गया, रिजेक्शन लेटर भेजो, लेटर भी नहीं है. So I called the guy and within 8 to 12 hours हमें वीज़ा मिल गया. वीज़ा मिल गया. I called the people, ऐसे मैंने खुद ले लिया and I paid for it myself and I said you can reimburse me. They said fine. हम वहाँ पहुँचे, awards night थी. Long story short, these guys were being not, मतलब they were not being nice to us, but when we reached there it was all right. But they just left us on our own, right? अब if you're an event manager, you're supposed to design the event in a way that you maximize everything, right? आपके पास एक artist आया है, आप उसको proper time दो या खाना पीना, whatever, right? What they did was, instead of holding off the last award and letting us play, they said, यहाँ पे award, एक हॉल में awards हैं और एक बाहर वाले हॉल में उन्होंने drinks and international show था, उन्होंने drinks and खाना पीना रखा हुआ था, hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And then they, instead of stopping to say कि last award से पहले आप music सुन लें, there were people who were super excited. Like there was a dude who was from Africa and he said that I know about you guys, I've seen you guys play before and my friends are here, and there were a lot of Pakistanis, they were also very happy कि representation हो रही है. And the people in the background, I don't, पता नहीं कौन से मुल्क से थे, जो भी था, someone I felt that had it out for us, and they announced कि okay, awards खत्म हो गए, now you guys, drinks are open. These people are all about networking, they don't give to, you know, rats but about, so they up and they left, and there was no one for me to play to instead of 3 Pakistanis. And I was thinking कि यार ये इतना किसी को प्रॉब्लम हो, तुमने मेरा म्यूजिक, तुम मुझे जानते भी नहीं हो पर्सनली और तुमने पीछे से ये हरकत कर दी. Looked at the guys looked at me, there were 3 Pakistanis who said we'll play for them, it's fine. My wife was there, another bandmate's wife was there, so there are 5 people now. We'll play for 5 people. So we played, and वो उनके चेहरे पे भी एक अजीब सा वो है कि यार ये what the hell happened, ये क्या हुआ. And I was like, it's your fault, you guys, मतलब not your fault, but it's not my responsibility to arrange कि मैं कब play कर रहा हूँ. It's yours to get the maximum out of the performance. And no one listened to it, and they just up and left. In the middle of all this, I was super, like, I was very upset and I didn't want to play. But to credit, the other 3 were like, it's fine, it's okay, it happens, just dil pe mat lo. I saw the guy who was supposed to pay us. So in the middle of the song, I said to the boys, keep on playing. So I put my guitar down, I went and I said, pay me right now. That's the only thing which will make this better. And I made him pay me, and I got back on stage during half song, and I started paying, and I said to the boys, at least we got paid, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we were always going to get paid, right? It's just that this was one of the worst gigs. There have been shows where बीच में रोकना पड़ा. एक शो था, I was wearing चपलियाँ and बारिश हुई थी, outdoor था, कीड़े थे, the कीड़े went up my pants, and I had to keep walking throughout the stage. And there was a show where a dude jumped through security and gave me a kiss on my cheek and said, I love you, and then he ran off. And then I was like, at least take me out to dinner first. And then there was a post-show, I got was swamped by a lot of spectators. There was no security, nothing. And then one show, my guitar nearly got broken. So there are 100 things, but there are 1,000 shows where everything went well and I just enjoyed and everything. ऐसा कोई show नहीं है कि it puts me off music. But you have to be a real evil person to move the crowd कि तुम्हें सुनने का मौका ही ना मिले. उसको उनको पता होगा कि यार ये एक म्यूजिशियन के लिए सबसे मुश्किल बात है कि उनको प्रेजेंट करना ही ना टाइम ही ना मिले. So that was tough. Yeah, so that was my worst show, and it was in Dubai. So in Pakistan, man, it's good. हमें बड़ा मजा आता है. Funnily enough, पश्तून तो होते ही हैं, हमारा म्यूजिक सुन के बड़े वो होते हैं. सिंधी जो हैं उनके कल्चर में ये है कि दूसरे कल्चर को वेलकम करना है. तो when you play in Karachi, it's madness. It's crazy. The amount of fun we have in Karachi is nowhere. Even in Punjab, it's pretty good. There is the odd one person जो कहता है धमाल बजाओ, ढोल बजाओ, बजा देते हैं हल्का फुल्का कुछ. But I always say to them कि यार सबसे ज़्यादा बजट पंजाब का है, सारा मुल्क तुम लोगों का है, थोड़ा हमें भी स्पेस दो. So you can handle it, you can manage it, yeah. And we have acceptance across the board, all provinces, everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah.
That's great to hear. And so you mentioned in the middle कि शुरू में एक गिग था जहाँ पे आप गए थे and लंबे बाल थे और आप पतले से थे और ये वो. But now you're not like that.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Sparlay Pro Max.
Yeah. तो ये Pro Max की journey कब start हुई आपकी? How did you get into bodybuilding?
ये basically what happened is that when I was in university, first year में जो है मैं जब यूनिवर्सिटी गया NCA तो मैं शुरू में I didn't मतलब मेरी drawing okay थी, wasn't that good. And I always had थोड़ा सा मुझे feel होता था कि यार मैं NCA में हूँ, मुझे drawing नहीं आती and you know that stuff. तो मैंने साल लगा के शुरू में, it's funny सी बात है कि आप NCA आके drawing सीखते हैं लेकिन but that's what I did. But I was in architecture, so drawing के ऊपर इतना heavy focus नहीं था. It was more about mathematics and English and composition and all that things. Entrance exam में मेरी drawing बस इतनी थी कि हो गया था. So I started to do it, and then उसके बाद once I was good at it, I realized that okay, I need to add things to my arsenal of being cool. So cool. And when you're young, 21-22 साल के आप होते हैं, 18-19 when I went to university, 20-year-old, so you have only one thing on your mind, which I will not say here. But I think your viewers know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so you do everything you can to get there. And it helped. Long hair, I know it's cliche, but us waqt guitar, long hair, muscles, it worked for me. And that's how I started. Later on, I realized the joy of being in a long-term relationship and having companionship and being with your best friend and then marrying your best friend and but I had a work ethic even in university and in the gym, which just carried over. And now I work out because I sincerely believe that you need to have a sound mind and also a sound body. तो वो दोनों जब साथ होते हैं तो ये होता है कि at least if you're alone or if you go home after a long day's work, you feel content कि चलो कुछ कर लिया. And I personally feel that physical labor, आप जो है once you sweat, you take it out, it really helps you calm your mind, tires you out, gives you a good night's sleep. And आजकल के ज़माने में there are 101 studies about how important sleep is, about how important your BMI is, about how important, I mean, lots of diseases and lots of these things you can, आप उससे बच सकते हैं. तो शुरू मेरे ulterior motives थे पहले, but later on I realized that this is something that I need to keep doing, right? And ये जो एक and then I'm all about being non-conformist. तो एक अजीब सी सिचुएशन है यहाँ पे कि शादी करने के बाद लोग ना उनके पेट निकल आते हैं और उनके पिछवाड़ा निकल आता है और अजीब पता नहीं क्या हो जाता है, सब कुछ लटक जाता है कि भाई अब तो शादी होगी, अब क्या करना है. व्हाट इज दिस नॉनसेंस? ये क्या बात हुई? आई मीन कम ऑन.
there are people who present scientific facts कि शादी के बाद तो निकलता ही है पेट. ये पीछे साइंस होती है उसकी. मैं कहता
पेट भी निकलता है और उस शादी में से खुशी भी निकल जाती है. व्हाट इज दिस? आई मीन यू शुड बी एबल टू be presentable for your partner at least, right? There is something must be going on in your relationship that you're binge eating or you're depressed or you're eating too much or whatever. This is what I feel. And I feel that अगर आप self love नहीं कर रहे और not even self love, you should be in a presentable state for the sake of your partner, right? You're going somewhere, आप कहीं जा रहे हैं. Who doesn't like, कि कोई आए और कोई कहे देखो पावर कपल आया है या ये है वो है. Everyone likes that stuff. But it's deeper than that. मैं जो है I don't flex my biceps when I go to somewhere, right? I don't मतलब मैं इस तरह overtly show नहीं करता कि ये है. It's more for me. Anything that's going on in my day, if it's messing with me, चाहे जो भी है, there's lots of really nice bodybuilders who say this कि यार वो it's therapy as well. I completely agree that there is space and necessity for anyone who has actual mental health problems that needs to go to therapy, and I'm not saying go to the gym सारे मसले हल हो जाएंगे, but it's part of it. It's part of it. Lots of people I've seen who have tough childhoods or have tough job or whatever, once they start working out, things start slightly getting better for them. And it's and I might be overstating the importance of it, but what's the point if you're 40 and morbidly obese and not happy and everything's falling off and you're not, matlab by 50-55 you'll be gone, right? रिटायरमेंट ली नहीं आपने और वो हो गया. आई मीन तो आई फील दैट इवन इफ़ यूर इन दिस कंट्री एंड आई अंडरस्टैंड, लोग कहते हैं कि नहीं भाई ये तो अमीरों का शौक है और ये है वो है. हाँ, जस्ट सिर्फ डाइट पूरी करने के लिए जो है ना, इट यू स्पेंड लॉट ऑफ मनी. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आप कंपटीशन करो. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आपका 16 इंच 18 इंच का बाजू होना चाहिए. आई एम सेइंग दैट यू शुड हैव अ फ्लैट टमी, एंड आई एम सेइंग दैट यू शुड हैव दैट 1 hour दैट यू टेक आउट to work on yourself. And then once you do, sometimes you think, acha, what else can I do? That leads to a hobby. You might read some more, you might do something else. So I think it's very important.
Acha, let me tell you a story. This is back in I think 2010 2011. आप कभी Bodyonics जाते थे?
Oh yes, I love Bodyonics.
वहाँ से स्टार्ट किया था, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I started as well.
Yeah.
तो वहाँ पे ना एक ट्रेनर थे, इसहाक.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's the best.
So
तुझे मैं मिस्टर पाकिस्तान बनाऊंगा.
Exactly. तो once पता नहीं उनसे क्या बात हो रही थी, तो वो मुझे कहते यार तुम्हें तो बड़ा शौक है. मैं कोई हैमस्ट्रिंग्स कर रहा था, तो कहते यार ये तो कोई भी नहीं करता, ये तुम कर रहे हो, तुम्हें बड़ा शौक.
No one does hamstrings.
तुम्हें बड़ा शौक है. मैंने कहा बस मुझे शौक है पूरी बॉडी बनाने का. तो वो कहते वो मतलब अपनी पिच करना शुरू हो गया एंड ऑल दैट. तो इन हिज पिच ना ही सेड के ये देखो ये मेरा एक क्लाइंट है, इसको पता नहीं इतना टाइम हो गया है, इसने इतनी बिल्ड कर लिया है,
ये बना लिया.
ठीक है, तो दैट गाय वाज यू. Because I remember you had long hair and I remember the exercise you were doing were real deltoids.
Yeah.
तो वो कहते कि यार देखो ये ना इसने I don't know कितने महीनों में या 1 साल में इतना गेन कर लिया, तो you can also do the same, you can work with me. यार long story short, घर में गया, घर मैंने कहा जी मुझे ट्रेनर चाहिए, वो बड़ा अच्छा बंदा है. तो पेरेंट्स ने कहा कि जी बेटा चलो निकले यहाँ से, कर रहे हो अकेले करते रहो. खैर तो that's when I I'm pretty sure it was you क्योंकि I remember उन्होंने मुझे नाम बताया था ना, वो पहली दफ़ा मैंने नाम सुना था. I'm pretty sure he said Sparlay and तो आपके लंबे बाल थे ना. Yeah, so that was you. I remember. तो उसके बाद I don't know if you were part of Khumariyaan at that time, were you?
Yeah, it was the early stages. Yeah.
The early stages.
अभी शुरू किया था.
हाँ. तो फिर when I saw you for the first time in the band ना, तो तब मैंने कहा ये तो वो है. वो जिसकी एग्जांपल मुझे दी गई थी. Yeah.
Well, I used to weigh 65 kg.
Right.
Back
and
in the day.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
अच्छा, ठीक है.
So I used to weigh. So on my frame, I looked malnourished. So when I went to Ishaq Ustad, I told him, okay, he's like, okay, we're gonna do 6 months now, and then after 6 months you can start protein powder and stuff like that. And I said, no, बड़ा नहीं होना. Ishaq Ustad goes, तू हो भी नहीं सकता. तू tension ना ले. I was like, damn, अच्छा ठीक है. Brought me down to earth. So once I did it, it was like मेरा natural body weight 70 plus होना चाहिए था. So when I was at Bodyonics, I never weighed more than 73 kg, and so I was 73, 74. So, and you know this, any fitness anyone who does fitness and थोड़ा सा भी उनको experience होता है, they know कि it's easy to build a skinny body from what's it called?
Ectomorph.
Ectomorph को build करना is easier than it is to कि बड़े से छोटा करो. The muscle, because
it can go both ways.
You can go, yeah, but like effort wise, I didn't have to do much. Like I didn't have to go in caloric deficit.
You had to eat.
I had to eat, and I was eating, and even eating भी मतलब six pack तो मतलब if you're like in a like आपके पास 2 वक्त का खाना नहीं है तो आपको 6 pack होगा, right? So that's ये एक अजीब बात है, 6 pack होना चाहिए. You have to starve yourself to get a 6 pack. It's very counterintuitive. उस वक्त तो था, and then it was just I was eating and it was building, and it was not much actually. मतलब I was just working out 6 days a week and giving time and eating, and my body just came to my natural weight जितना होना चाहिए था. तो वो उसमें उस्ताद का ठीक है. वो obviously पाकिस्तान में ट्रेनर आपका सिर्फ ट्रेनर नहीं होता, आपका वो साइकोलॉजिस्ट भी होता है, साथ में बताता भी है कि वो छोड़ लड़कियों को, ये कर वो कर, सेट लगा, ये करो. And is to his credit, he's the one who put me onto it. He just really helped me work out and everything, and I still there's a lot of politics कि Mr. Pakistan, because when you go to that level, so politics is a part of it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I've had the best time with the Ishaq Ustad. And then I shifted houses and stuff though, and then I felt that I've done enough in 2-3 years that I can go on my own. I think growth is that you sort of do your own thing, and you're not dependent on a trainer. So I hate being dependent on anything for anyone. So I just moved away. Then I went to several other gyms, but शौक मेरा और बॉडी मेरे वहीं बना है in that dungeon. And I'm not fantasizing it. It's filthy. अब तो खैर अच्छा हो गया, उन्होंने revamp कर दिया. But I feel that जोर वहीं लगता है, and because everyone else is doing it. और वो चप्पलों में और जीन्स में मतलब स्क्वाट्स लग रहे हैं, और दब मतलब 120, 160, 180 किलो के स्क्वाट्स लग रहे हैं, और ये भी लगा रहा है, वो भी लगा रहा है, वो भी लगा रहा है. क्या सीन है भाई. तो वो माहौल है एक, ठीक है. यहाँ पे it's different. In other gyms there's headphones, there's iron gear.
Yeah.
मतलब हाँ.
Maybe from Bodyonics to I won't name the gym, but एक burger gym मैं जब पहली दफ़ा गया, मैं तो सैंडल में गया था. मैं गया हूँ, मुझे my friend took me and she was like चलो let's work out together. और मैं सैंडल में गया हूँ, मैंने कुछ और नहीं किया हुआ, क्या पहना हुआ है, मैंने शर्ट उतारी, अंदर बनियान थी.
ठीक है.
और फिर मैंने राइट लेफ्ट देखा, मैं कॉन्शियस हो गया. मैंने कहा यार ये तो कुछ और सीन है यार.
10,000 रुपये कपड़ों पे लगाओ पहले.
मुझे जूते लेने होंगे यार, ये तो कुछ और चक्कर है. बट या वहाँ पे यू कैन जस्ट फोकस ऑन लिफ्टिंग एंड जस्ट फोकस ऑन द एसेंस ऑफ इट. बाकी चीज़ें खैर
नहीं. देखें, इफ़ यू हैव द राइट मेंटालिटी, फिजिक आपकी ये नए वाले जिम्स में बन सकती है, कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है. एंड ये आई फील के वैसे ही हम थोड़ा सा मतलब उसको वो कर रहे हैं, फैंटेसाइज कर रहे हैं, रोमांटिसाइज कर रहे हैं, जो कि डंजन जिम टाइप होता है उसको. बिकॉज इट्स नॉट एवरीवन्स कप ऑफ टी टू गो टू डू दिस, एंड इट्स कम्प्लीटली फाइन. इफ़ यू वांट टू वर्क आउट इन एन AC, इट्स योर, यू कैन डू इट. कोई ऐसा कोई स्टडी नहीं है जो कहता है कि
ऑफ कोर्स
AC में नहीं बॉडी नहीं बनेगी. हम फंसे हुए इस तरह इसलिए हैं, बायस्ड हैं, क्योंकि पंपिंग आयरन देखा हुआ है, रॉनी कोलमन को देखा हुआ है, ठीक है, और मतलब जिस तरह के जिम्स में वो करते हैं वर्कआउट्स, मतलब पसीने से पूरा हाल, और देन आर्नल्ड एंड उस तरह, ठीक है, आई नो द क्लीशेज, हम मे बी दैट्स व्हाई वी फैंटेसाइज कि अच्छा यार इस तरह का हार्डकोर जिम होना चाहिए, दैट्स फाइन, बट टेटनेस इज़ नॉट गुड आइदर. रस्टेड बारबेल्स एंड मतलब पता नहीं कौन कहाँ हाथ लगा कर आया है उसको, फिर वो वर्कआउट कर रहा है. It's not exactly वो disinfect तो नहीं करते उनको वो, right? And then मतलब there is no concept of towel और के मतलब सीट वो करनी है, मतलब है उसी सीट पे बंदे ने वर्कआउट किया, पीछे स्वेट है, तो ही इज़ लाइक उसको देख रहा है, आप उसको देख रहे हो, and then he sits on it, he slides down and he removes the sweat with his butt. And he's like, here you go, this is how you do it. So now his back sweat is on the seat and his butt sweat as well. But you do it, man. That's how it is, I guess.
Yeah. There was this one gym that I went to जहाँ पे ना ये चीज़ जो है ना ये थोड़ी ज़्यादा एक्सट्रीम हो गई थी कि मेरे से बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रही थी. एक तो ये था कि इफ्तारी के बाद मैं गया था और वहाँ पे सब आए हुए हैं, मजदूर भी आए हुए हैं, ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, कोई नहीं, चलता है. अब वहाँ पे एक रूल था, मे बी यू बीन देयर एज वेल, वहाँ पे रूल था कि आपके एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप ऑफ जूते होने चाहिए, वरना आपने नंगे पैर जाना है.
What? नंगे पैर?
या तो
Madness.
मेरे जूते पता नहीं उस टाइप के नहीं थे. नंगे पैर में क्यों भाई, जमीन पसीने से भरी हुई है,
फर्स्ट क्लास, और
नंगे पैर एक्सरसाइज करें, तो वहाँ मुझे हो रहा था यार ये बहुत ज्यादा हो गया.
ज़्यादा हो गया,
ये नहीं हो सकता भाई.
ये अच्छा, उनको इस तरह के जिम्स को क्लब भी कहते हैं, अक्सर कहते हैं आप क्लब जा रहे हो, क्लब लगाने जा रहे हो, क्लब जा रहे हो, कहाँ पे हो, गेम लगाने जा रहे हो, हाँ गेम लगाने जा रहे हो. तो बिकॉज कोई भी जूता पहन लो, नंगे पैर मत जाओ. something falls on your foot, you're gone. What's the point? You're not doing squats, you're not doing deadlifts, you're not doing these things. So I mean, you have to be, ideally जो ये लोग बड़े बड़े बिल्डर थे वो तो स्टील टो पहनते हैं, बिकॉज 90 kg की जब आप उठा रहे हैं डंबल, तो गलती से भी पाँव पे गिर गया तो एनीथिंग कैन हैपन. सो सेफ्टी इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, लेकिन नॉट इन दीज प्लेसेस. ये तो बस रफ एंड टफ वो है, और हम करते थे, इट वर्कड फॉर अस. नाउ आई लाइक माई AC. I like it. हाँ, I'm good. हाँ,
बंद करते हैं एसी, पंखा बंद करते हैं.
हाँ, पंखा लगा खड़ा यार, क्या हो गया यार, चलने दो, कोई बात नहीं. तो I had a good time in Bodyonics, and I have nothing but good words to say about Isaaq Ustad, and he really tried कि मुझे junior Mr. Pakistan बनाए, but I just now it's easier for me to understand the mindset of someone who would want to put on a thong or a posing trunks. But back then I would say, okay, why would I wear this thong, right? But you're a child. You don't know these things. When you grow up, you realize, okay, you have to show off every single muscle on the stage. So you wear your posing trunks. And so that's the journey from the thong to the posing trunks. So you realize, okay, there's respect. It's not easy. It's easy to ridicule. It's not easy to put it on and put yourself on display for everyone to judge. Right, so they know, अच्छा इसकी कैफ छोटी है, इसका वो छोटा. Your insecurities are right there, right? Yep. With no fat, nothing to hide it, and each striation they see, and the way they get there, it's like a monumental task. I mean, putting up bulk वो तो आसान है, जो आप उसको वापस काट के अपने आप को उस तरह प्रेजेंट करते हैं, it's tremendous. They see death very nearly. तो ये ज़रूरी है इसको डिस्कस करना, इस पे वो बात करना. But I was already on stage. I was playing. I was getting the adulation and admiration that I wanted. So it never appealed to me कि मैं stage पे जाऊँ. And I didn't leave Bodyonics because they were telling me to do it again and again. I could handle that, but it's just that I had to. It was not convenient anymore. And plus, I was branching out. I couldn't pay because I've been paying 10-15 हज़ार रुपए for 2 years. So my parents were finally like, सीख क्या होगा अब तो. I'm like, yeah man. So 10-15 हज़ार then you can spend towards like your protein powder and your khana pina.
Yeah.
So that's why I shifted. Yeah.
So in this journey of getting big and being pushed towards a competition but not going towards it, if you're comfortable talking about it, did you also experiment with steroids and stuff?
यार बड़ी मज़े की बात है कि just give me 1 second. मैं जो है ना बेगम को वो भेज देता हूँ यहाँ की लोकेशन, और वो आ जाएंगी, and then when she's here we can go home together. तो मुझे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है कि unless you're like Rich Piana or you are Sebum or anyone, even Ronnie is not झूठ बोल रहा होता है. He's like, I took some test and some D-ball. Bullshit, Ronnie, come on. Right? So there's a massive stigma attached to it. In Pakistan, I don't see any bodybuilder coming on a podcast and saying, हाँ मैंने किया है, मैंने वो किया है. Because somehow I feel that if you say you've done it, it takes away from all the effort that you've put into it, right? I've been working out 12 years now. So in 12 years, I've gained 1 kg.
Per year?
Yeah, no, 2 kgs per year.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a lot.
from 65 to 85, right? So is 85 mein 5 is fat. I have a little bit on my belly, which I'm not proud of, but it's not कि मेरी belly bahar hai, it's just that it's not perfect, right? I used to have a 6-pack, now it's 4. It's okay. I'm 30, 33, 34 years old. It's fine now. So, realistically, I've gained 15 kg of muscle. I should have been on 73, 74 to begin with, but I was undernourished. So if you remove that as well, I've gained maybe 1 or half a kg a year. Okay? If I were on for those 10 years, I would be 100, 105 plus at least mein hota, right? And I would be working out twice a day. I would be eating 4 times, 6 times a day. And I would have been a lot bigger than I am, which I would love to be. But I've plateaued for the past 3 years. I am like this, right? It's important to understand that if someone is taking steroids, they are working twice as hard as the next person. But it's also important to understand that 6 months natural, sleep on time, eat on time, do everything on time. 6 months on, don't sleep on time, do everything you want to do, anything, you'll blow the guy out of the water. Right? So there is a clear advantage to doing them. Now, why do you want to do them? Right? Exactly. If you have the motivation to get big and you want to go, it's fine. There have been many trainers who have said to me, okay, now you've plateaued, maybe a little bit here, maybe a little bit there or something. To me, I might consider it maybe after the age of 40 or 50, because then it would be TRT. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like Joe Rogan or Strava. Just to have the test levels that you had when you were 25, right? At the moment, I have my hair, most of it. I have skinny calves. My legs are not as big as I want them to be. So at the moment, I'm not on something, and despite the best efforts of most of my trainers, I never was on anything, neither orals nor wo. But I did read up on it. I mean, as a bodybuilder, you come really close.
Yeah.
You come really close. And the thing is that people think bada kharcha hai, ye hai, wo hai. Surprisingly, steroids are not expensive. What's expensive is the food that you have to eat while you're on them to get the most out of them, right? I have a lifestyle where on the weekends or in the middle of the week, I'll have to do a show, or if I have to go abroad, I'm not about to take my stuff with me.
Tupperware
No, Tupperware ke alawa, I'm not about to get caught at the airport with my stuff and go, well, I want to have to carry on and stuff. I can't do that. I've been all over the country, all over the world to play with the band, and I have to, it's a double-edged sword, right? Either you can be very open-minded, it's a fresh breath of air, but people then take away from your work ethic, right?
Yeah.
Even if I was on, I don't know if I would say I'm on, because there's such a stigma attached to it, right? There's such a woe for me. But if someone says to me that they're on, and I can see their physique, and I see them working, and I see their Tupperware, and I see them eating fucking boiled chicken and broccoli, and respect. Mad respect, right? For me, 4 meals a day I've been taking. Gradually I've been going up, and I've plateaued at this. Right now, if the people seeing this and they're saying, yaar, iska to ye bazooz lagta hi nahi hai, kis tarah hoga? I worked out. I did arms before coming on the podcast, because everyone only looks at arms. No one gives a shit about your chest or your triceps or your bicep kitna bada hai. So,
strategically placed kiya aapne arm workout.
Yeah. So I've I've come close a couple of times to taking the plunge, but I think once I'm above 40 or 50 and my test levels start going down,
That makes
I'm
sense.
probably doing it, because I want to retain this, and it's not bad to have to retain it.
Yeah.
And I think by then the stigma will have thoda kam ho jayega, because it's a lot more common than people think.
Then people
Every
think.
single sport has PEDs.
Yeah.
Every single sport, right? Funnily enough, Special Olympics अभी हुए हैं, और पाकिस्तान के बंदे गए थे play करने, and they came back with, I don't know, 10 medals, and 4 people got caught using PEDs, and 4 of them were gold medals. Russia's been caught. America has been caught. Every single sport that you do is just about beating the system, right? उनको पता है कि कितने किस तरह लेना है क्या. Because the way testing works is that if you know Derek more plates, more dates का channel देखा हुआ है अगर आपने, तो he'll tell you that it's not like कि भाई ये सब टेस्ट करेंगे और आ जाएगा किया हुआ है. They look for specific compounds. There are 1,000,001 compounds.
Yeah.
Right? If you're at the Olympia level, you can pay someone to make you a specific compound which they can't test for. Now, when you take these compounds, other things happen in your body, right? That they can test for. When they test it, what time they test it, कितने बजे करते हैं, after how long you've been off, taper किया नहीं किया, that's the cat and mouse that these people play, right? UFC में हो रहा है, boxing में होता है. There are some of physiques which you say कि हाँ, this is impossible, कि ये हो ही नहीं सकता, ठीक है कि ये on ना हो, right? तो ये it's a lot more, लोगों को पता नहीं है इस बात का कि इतना यूज़ होता है. But someone like a musician or an artist or an architect, your job is to know what the person really means by what they're saying, right? If you're sitting in front of a client, or if you're playing music for them or whatever, you can sort of tell कि अच्छा पीछे motivation क्या है, क्या बात हो रही है. That means that if you are a practical person, if something is too good to be true, it means it is.
Probably yes.
Probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
How can someone be as good as Lance Armstrong with one testicle? Because he had testicular cancer. I mean, his bande ko how does this work? I mean, it doesn't. Banda kehta hai ki acha, virility comes from the testicles apparently, and this guy had one, and still he's the best in the world. That's because he was doing PEDs. So, and everyone that came after him is still doing it, and that were before him did it, and there is no way that you can compete at the highest level without them, right? So maybe when I'm 40 or 50, there'll be a lot less stigma, and then I'll be open about it. I'm not on any. I never was on any, but if I were, I don't know if I'd say it would be, because there's no space for it.
Yeah.
There's no space for it, because they take away all your hard work. They're like, oh, ये cheating है, ऐसे तो मैं भी कर लूँ, कर ले, चल.
हाँ, ये ले चीज़ें.
You do it.
ये ले डाइट और कर ले.
See what happens. Yeah. So I mean, they can't. So there's a massive stigma to it.
You know, there was someone on this show. So people have admitted to taking roids on this show, but one person said something very interesting. He said कि मैंने लिए हुए for a competition to get lean and all, मैंने लिए थे.
हाँ, ठीक है.
अब मैं ले रहा हूँ कि नहीं ले रहा, I'm not going to answer that. मैंने कहा why not? कहते हैं कि if I say I'm taking it, they're going to say यार इसकी body इसलिए है.
इसकी body इसलिए है.
If I say I'm not taking it, they're going to say झूठ बोल रहा है.
झूठ बोल रहा है, या.
तो कहते हैं मैं आंसर नहीं कर रहा.
आप ले लो, ठीक है. You take it, and then let's see what happens. If you think you're going to take an injection and it's going to work, and you're going to sleep and you wake up in the morning and तुम्हारी body बनी होगी, that's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
So and most people, when you're on, you're hungry. You want to eat and eat and eat, and people don't take that for account. Then there are some people who, most people need to work out twice a day if you're really about it, because the recovery is so quick.
Yeah.
So you work out in the day, you work out in the morning. I have 3 jobs. There's no way it's happening, right? Now, there is no doubt कि मेरा plateau खत्म हो जाएगा if I start today. Within 3 weeks, I'll go up to 90 or 88 or 90. I get that, I know. But since I'm not going on stage, I don't feel the need to do it at the moment. देयर आर पीपल जिनको देख के लगता है कि यार ये नेचुरल नहीं हो सकता, एंड दैट्स फाइन, बट व्हेन यू सी देम वर्किंग आउट, वो जानवर की तरह वर्कआउट करते हैं. 80-80 kg डंबल उठा के दिखाओ वैसे नहीं उठा सकते, राइट? फिर उसमें अजीब ये स्टिग्मा भी है कि अच्छा आप छोड़ दोगे तो सब लटक जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. गोल्डन एरा बॉडी बिल्डर्स आर स्टिल अलाइव. टॉम प्लाट्स looks like any 70-year-old, better. He's not on, right? But he still looks better. Frank Zane is still alive, looks fantastic. Arnold अभी भी workout करता है.
हाँ, biking करता है.
हाँ, biking करता है. Ronnie would have been fine had he not pushed his lower back injury too much. He had a slip disc, never got it sorted, kept working out, another slip disc, and it just compounded, and his entire back is now fused.
He wasn't just smart about it, just like Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler is still fantastic physique. I mean, there are so many bodybuilders जो अभी भी ठीक हैं, right? There are the people like Rich Piana and the अभी Dallas bodybuilder जो Dallas, and that's वो तो those are the dangers of growth hormone, and ये तो आपको साथ लेके चलना पड़ता है. But there are like 5,000 pros in the IFBB, and then one dies. And they say, oh, steroids. It's dangerous, yes. But it's people like the casual viewer and the casual listener who wants to look at those freaks. They have to become freaky, because otherwise कोई देखने नहीं आता. If I take off my shirt today, you take off your shirt, कहेंगे
हाँ ये कौन कमजोर लोग आ गए. Natural shows का तो है नहीं.
हाँ तो steroids कर तो क्या steroid कर ले कुछ तो थोड़ा कुछ बन जाएगा. So they want to see the freaks. They want to see कि अच्छा यार ये किस तरह वो हैं, और तो उनके लिए वो करना पड़ता है.
उन्हीं के लिए वो करते हैं, फिर वही लोग बातें करते हैं.
हाँ, of course,
जब कुछ हो जाता है.
हाँ, तो अब ये है कि the idea that steroids is cheating. Yes, if you're doing competitive sport, and if you're hiding it, then I guess yes. But if I ever if I were the head of the Tour de France, I would say जो करना है करो. Let's see what the human body is possible of doing, right? At least we'll have a benchmark. इससे आगे जाओगे तो गए.
There was one bodybuilder, I don't remember कौन था, in the 70s उसका इंटरव्यू हो रहा था. उसने बोला था कि yes, इस स्पोर्ट में steroids हैं, but the thing is that अगर steroids ना होते या steroids होते, the champion would still be the champion.
Yeah, of course.
And second would still be second.
Yeah.
Steroids से बस वो look एक enhance हो रही है, लेकिन जिसने जीतना है उसी ने जीतना है.
हाँ, ये बात ठीक है. लेकिन अगर steroids बिल्कुल नहीं है तो उसने जीतना है जिसने जीतना है. कंफर्म बात है कि नहीं है. लेकिन अगर एक है और एक नहीं है, then there is no way.
फिर तो
there is no way. अभी there are sports where they look the other way, right? Bodybuilding and funnily enough, jiu-jitsu जो is
really?
हाँ, it's jiu-jitsu. If you look at Gordon Ryan, the grand champion in jiu-jitsu आजकल जो है, पता नहीं multiple time world champion. If you look at his photographs, you're like and he's like openly admits it. हाँ, everyone does it. वो सब करते हैं. Everyone does it. And that's the trade-off that you do with your later years if you want to, right? Because if you want to be champion, if someone else is doing it, then you have to do it, because there's no way that a national bodybuilder can compete with or even a jiu-jitsu wala banda ya koi bhi wo kare. So everyone is on, and when there's more acceptance of it, because I think मेरे हिसाब से अभी मुझे ये पता है कि नेचुरल बॉडी बिल्डिंग जो है ये एक इट्स अ मूट पॉइंट, बिकॉज एक लेवल पे आप आ जाते हैं एंड देन देयर इज nothing you can do. So like I said before, for me now it's more about mental health and being कि बस मैंने कुछ किया है, कुछ physical activity की है, right? And how I look is now a byproduct. So for me it's when you remove that, the vanity aspect of it, then you can stay natural. But थोड़ा सा भी आपको लगे ना कि नहीं, तो man,
you can jump the gun anytime.
Yeah, it's just that the effect is so good. I mean, I've seen people, man, they get
आंखों के सामने होते हैं
ना. Wonderful. And I don't see them complaining about, कि ये हो गया, वो हो गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. And plus the amount of stuff that they do in Pakistan, वो तो अंग्रेज और गोरा तो सप्लीमेंट कहते हैं उसको, कहते हैं ये तुम कितने का डायनाबॉल ले रहे हो, 2 ले रहे हो, 3 ले रहे हो, ये तो सप्लीमेंट है, तो हम वैसे ही खाते हैं, कोई मसला ही नहीं है. जो 12-10 गोलियां दिन में खाते हैं तो उनको क्या टेंशन होती है. पाकिस्तान में आई डोंट नो कि वो लेवल तक अब कहाँ तक वो पहुंचा है, बट आई स्टिल फील कि हम वही कॉम्पाउंड्स हैं जो कि आर्नल्ड के ज़माने में थे, वही डोजेजेस हैं, वही बेसिक क्राइटेरिया है.
अच्छा पता, आई हर्ड द एग्जैक्ट ऑपोजिट ऑफ दिस,
अच्छा.
ऑफ समवन हु वेंट टू दुबई के एक जिम में गया था, वहाँ बॉडी बिल्डर वगैरह से मिला था. ही सेड कि यार वो जो ले रहे हैं
हाँ.
क्वांटिटीज हम उनसे ज़्यादा लेते हैं, बट दे हैव बेटर फिजिक्स देन अस.
दैट आई थिंक दैट्स बिकॉज एक तो the quality of food is also very important, plus I think the brands that they take,
maybe.
So I mean they might get brands which are more bang for the buck, और जो compounds हैं I think उसका थोड़ा फर्क होगा. तो I think that's how it is, because यहाँ पे तो it's all smuggled, right? So I mean जो आपको बेच रहा है पहले अपने आप पे ट्राई करेगा. if he isn't dead in 3 days, he's like it works, pump आ रहा है, वेन निकली है, हाँ तू भी लगा ले. So I mean I've never heard of a guy who's not a bodybuilder and is selling the PEDs, selling steroids.
Right.
It's because they first tried out on themselves. वो करते हैं, then फिर आगे बेचते हैं, वो करते हैं, and it's an easy way. And ये उस्ताद वगैरह सबके पास अपने access होता है. Yeah. I knew a guy, an उस्ताद, I won't take the name क्योंकि पता है there's random लोग भी तंग करते हैं. But वो had a guy, he was doing it with him, and then ये जो आपने कहा ना कि मजदूर भी लगा रहे थे मेरे साथ, ये भी कर रहे थे, ये मजदूर ही चैंपियन बनते हैं फिर. ये जो नान वाला बनारस खान है और ये है वो हैं, इनके फिर द प्रॉब्लम विद दैट इज दैट द उस्ताद्स डोंट टेल देम व्हाट दे आर टेकिंग. सो इफ एनीवन इज लुकिंग एट टेकिंग देम, डोंट, देयर इज a million and one videos on YouTube now which you can educate yourself. इनका प्रॉब्लम फिर ये होता है, और फिर ये मरते भी हैं, इसलिए मरते हैं, और मेनली कटिंग में मरते हैं इसलिए बिकॉज दे डोंट आस्क कि मुझे क्या लग रहा है.
एग्जैक्टली
राइट. उनको नहीं पता होता क्या लग रहा है, वो उस्ताद बताता भी नहीं है. ठीक है ना, ये खा ले, ये कर ले, वो कर ले, आज इतना लगा उतना लगेगा, वो देखता है, वो करता है. इफ़ यू डोंट नो व्हाट्स गोइंग इनसाइड यू, दैट्स अ रेसिपी फॉर डिजास्टर. तो एंड आई डोंट हैव, लाइक पर्सनली आई डोंट हैव एनी stigma. Like I said, maybe at age of 40 or 50 I might try it, and still want to look good. What's the problem in looking good? And if I have the testosterone of a 25-year-old at the age of 40, 50, TRT is a real thing in the world. ठीक है, people do it. People want to look good. It's fine. People live up to the age of 80, 90, whatever. तो ये कहना कि अच्छा यार मैं शायद 90 साल की उम्र तक नहीं जी पाऊँगा, and you live a shit life 50 onwards. What's the point? 50 onwards, anything you get is a bonus. That's what I think, right? So maximize it. That's what I think.
भाई तो TRT को they don't even say कि ये quote unquote steroid या PED है, वो कहते हैं ये तो TRT है.
TRT basically TRT is कि आपके after a certain age your levels go down, right? So if you want to bring them back up, or I think the normal range is around क्या है 800,000 इस तरह नॉर्मल रेंज होता है. upper level, right? So and I think anyone between 400 and 800 is considered normal, even 300. So if you are on the upper level of normal, so I get it, it's not natural. I get it कि maybe you're meant to have that at the age of 50, इतना ही कम होना चाहिए. But I think now there's so much to experience in the world, and there is so much to do in the world that कि आप 50 साल की उम्र में अगर आप रिटायरमेंट ले लें तो you're gonna miss out on so much. And there is an appeal to having वो सफ़ेद, मतलब ये अच्छा इस तरह की बातें को लोग करेंगे कि वो ये तो नेचुरल नहीं है, ये नहीं वो नहीं. एंड देन इंस्टाग्राम पे कोई सिल्वर फॉक्स होगा चिकना किस्म का, 50 साल का बाबा जी होंगे, दाढ़ी होगी, सफ़ेद बाल यूँ खड़े होंगे. ठीक है, हाउ डू यू थिंक ही गॉट दैट हेयर? ही गॉट इट फ्रॉम HGH. तो I'm not saying that I'm not saying to people कि आप 50 साल के बाद TRT करें. What I'm saying is that you would want to be around to see your kids and their kids and whatever, if you know, and if you can extend your life by 5-10 years, start working out now, right? Most of our mothers जो हैं, they've had their hysterectomies and their hormonal imbalances out, and they've gained weight and they don't go to the gym and they don't walk and all stuff. There are female only timings, female only gyms. आप करें, workout करें, you see your kids grow up. उसके अलावा you meet them halfway as well. 50 साल के बाद अगर आप रिटायर हो गए हैं, बस टांगों पे करके बैठ गए हैं, तो you have to meet them halfway. Otherwise they'll resent you. They won't show it, but they will. It's a human thing. And लिविंग अ बैलेंस्ड लाइफ. आपने पॉडकास्ट के शुरू में कहा था कि यार एक बैलेंस्ड ज़िंदगी होनी चाहिए, हॉबी भी एक होना चाहिए, ये भी होना चाहिए. बिकॉज एंड रिलीजियस बिलीव्स अगर आपके इफ़ यू आर इनटू दैट, वो कितना उसको आपने यू गोना लेट दैट बी अ पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ, वो भी हो, एवरीथिंग इज़ फाइन. बट इट हैज़ टू बी अ बैलेंस्ड लाइफ. आई फील कि आप वो करें. बिकॉज what's there for you after you die, you have no idea, right? You go to heaven, you go to hell, you don't know. But what you can do is that you do your best here, and by doing your best here is only when you're not bloody depressed and binge eating at home. And because क्या कहते हैं वो, you have to God helps those who help themselves. Yes. So you help yourself to a better life. And I think it's a virtue. I think it's a godly thing. It's a prophetic thing to make your life better. Because every single prophet and every single religious scripture yahi kehta hai that you have to, you have to be good to people. You have to be good to yourself. And I think this is what I firmly believe in.
So, since you mentioned balance,
yeah,
how are you balancing everything? You have your band, you have architecture के भी projects आपके चल रहे हैं.
Yes.
Gym भी चल रहा है. And you're also managing your wife's
clinic.
Hair transfer clinic.
Yes. Well, she does everything. I manage in the sense that I am her support system when she needs me.
Okay.
So even just by being there, even just by being around, my presence is enough to sort of balance it. So that's what I do. She does all the hard work. She's the rock star. वो मेरा असली काम is mainly architecture and music. And then if something comes up, she needs my help, so I help with the clinic as well.
So what does your typical day or week look like? How do you divide your tasks?
Okay, so Monday is chest.
उसके साथ और
Tuesday is back. अच्छा. So I have shows normally on the weekends. And if I have a show during the day, वो हो तो उससे पिछली रात जो है I check my guitar, all these things मैं कर लेता हूँ. 9 or 10 we're up and about. I'll tell you why it's 9 or 10. I'm not an early riser. I have massive trauma from getting up early for going to school. So unless I'm being paid to get up early, or there's a flight I have to catch where I go and get paid, I can't open my eyes at 7, or I'm not an early riser.
Okay.
तो वो कहानी, I know मैंने बैलेंस लाइफ की बात की है, बट बैलेंस लाइफ का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप सुबह 6 बजे उठें और डेविड गॉगिन्स की तरह जो है ना खाली पेट 4 किलोमीटर भागें और come on. So I don't think that's balanced either. So 9 or 10 starts.
Fine, yeah.
Sometimes if I'm sick or whatever, it might go to 11. But the beauty of having worked 10 years in something is that you get to manage your own time at some point. My wife worked for other people, for other doctors for a long time. And now we've opened our own place. What's the point of having your own place if I can't go in a half an hour late, right? That's what I believe. वो दिन एक और बात भी है कि अच्छा you set the example or the tone by going this. I think वो कहानियाँ अब थोड़ी सी पुरानी हो गई हैं. अब तो लोग work from home भी करते हैं और वो भी होता है. As long as you do your stuff, be on time, that's fine. 9 or 10, I'm up. I do the clinic की जो marketing है वो मेरे पास है. So I firmly believe that all the queries and ये सब कुछ जो आता है, you can't have a third person on salary who replies to those people. You should do it yourself, because that's how you make relationships. It's a new clinic, 2 साल हुए हैं अभी. That's how you can oversee every single person, and then personally आप उनको manage कर सकते हैं. And that's my way of doing it. So first hour or 2, I reply only to queries on the phone.
So not even eventually you think there should be like an assistant or someone?
At some point, yes, when we have enough clientele and we have enough clientele. But there are things that they miss out on, right? It falls through the cracks some place. And in the end, अगर उन्होंने कहना ही है कि बॉस से बात कराएं, तो might as well बॉस ही बात कर लेते हैं. I'll know कि कितना difficult है या नहीं है बंदा. तो eventually, obviously, if you want to be top G, तो आपको जो है ना you delegate, and then you just sit back and you manage. But I think once you for people who come from the working class like us, जो हम काम करते हैं, हम day to day हमें करना पड़ता है. I think it's important to be hands-on. So first hour or two, I do that. I don't do breakfast because I feel that just eggs and oatmeal and that sort of stuff, if there's no meat in it, it just doesn't work for me.
Okay.
आधे घंटे बाद मुझे फिर भूख लगती है.
अच्छा.
So I have an early lunch.
Right.
Then I have my second lunch. So my breakfast is basically lunch. मैं खाना खाता हूँ.
Basically, the type of food is not breakfasty.
No, it's not. So it's like proper khana. So I do that.
Okay.
And then if I have to go to a site, I try to get that done. And then if I don't have a show, तो शाम आती है, then I go to the clinic. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, वहाँ पे जो भी clinic के काम है ये है. Since I'm an architect, तो I'm the resident contractor of the clinic as well. ये light ख़राब है तो वो बल्ब ख़राब है तो ये है वो है. So I manage all these things as well.
Right.
And then we discuss the business of the day, the wife and I. And then the most important part to having a day, a balanced day, is that you at 7 p.m. you just shut off. No more work, right? 7 के बाद जो है ना, it's your time. It's family time. It's Zara and mine's time. My wife's name is Zara. We have a couple of dogs. It's just us, and we do Netflix. We do some Netflix and chill, and we cook. हम खुद पकाते हैं. Zara has so my wife. It also helps that the wife is also into fitness and gym.
Mm-hmm.
She is a lot more disciplined. She is a proper athlete.
अच्छा.
वो मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ उसके सामने.
Really?
She is so dedicated. You have no idea. Mind over matter completely. If she were abroad, she could compete. She was so good. She weighs her food.
Oh.
She cooks her own food. Right? She's like, it's like I'm married to NSJD.
नहीं, but I don't even weigh my food all the time.
हाँ, she weighs it all the time.
All
now.
the time.
All the time. हाँ. तो मतलब है कि कल आधा खीरा वे हो रहा था. And then उसमें कितनी कैलोरीज होती है आधे खीरे में. So हमारा we have a trainer in gym, Rahil, right? So when Zara, my wife, actually sometimes we think ना मैं उसमें तंग करता हूँ, इसमें कितनी कैलोरीज होंगी, उसमें कितनी कैलोरीज. And she doesn't think about it, but when I say to it, she's like, damn it, now I need to know. Then we ask Rahil भाई ये जो हमने बाहर चने खाए हैं अभी, वो चने दाने जो मिलते हैं वो हमने खाए हैं, उसमें कितना होगा. वो Rahil भाई कहते हैं यार तुम क्या कर रहे हो, what do you want to, I'm like हम गपशप लगा रहे हैं. But she has the app. She puts in everything कि मैंने इधर खाना. हाँ. So I mean she's and then like मैंने एक तरह की ट्रेनिंग की आज तक ज़िंदगी में, वेट ट्रेनिंग बस. उस्ताद उस तरफ कार्डियो है, उस तरफ HIIT है, उस तरफ where's that thing man जो सब लोग मजाक उड़ाते हैं, क्रॉसफिट. क्रॉसफिट है, उस तरफ पावर लिफ्टिंग है, उस तरफ और कार्डियो, मतलब थोड़ा बोटा उठा के बस वो जितना मतलब स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग के लिए. और लाइक तो वो जो है, सो इट हेल्प्स, राइट. सो 7 onwards she does her meals, I do my meals, we give each other space because my meals are different than there are to hers.
Right.
But you have to it's ये जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है कि सब लोग बैठ जाओ डाइनिंग टेबल पे हम खाना खाएंगे. पहली बात तो सब लोग हैं नहीं, जस्ट मी एंड माई वाइफ, राइट. You can't have two people sitting आमने सामने. One is eating diet food and one is eating like a pig, right? Because that's what I have to do to keep mass. So I have मैं पकाता खुद हूँ, बेशक वो कढ़ाई हो या बेशक वो स्पगेटी हो, बोलोनेज शोलोनेज हो, सैंडविचेस हो, ये हो वो हो, खुद देसी दाल चाल भी कुछ भी हो जाए उसमें, देयर इज ऑयल एंड स्टफ इन इट. सो वी गिव इच अदर स्पेस, राइट. एंड दैट्स आई थिंक द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. इससे लोग ये कहेंगे अच्छा प्यार कम हो जाए, ये नहीं. प्यार ये नहीं है कि तुम साथ बैठ के खाना खा रहे हो. प्यार ये है कि तुम अगले बंदे को स्पेस दे रहे हो टू फॉलो देयर डाइट एंड यू डोंट मॉक देम फॉर इट. तुम तो 2 खीरे खा रहे हो, इससे क्या होगा तुम्हारा. दैट्स नॉनसेंस, राइट. इफ समवन हैज़ अ प्लान, राइट, एंड दे लुक गुड, राइट, they don't look underweight, they don't look anorexic, they don't. ख़वातीन यहाँ पे there's a big problem of I don't remember the name of the disease, वो जो they eat and then they उल्टियाँ करती हैं, bulimia, right. People feel these things, right. वो लोग feel करते हैं. किसी की सास या किसी की चाची या कोई आती है, हाँ थोड़ा सा मोटी हो गई, ये हो गया, वो they touch them something, that sticks in their minds. Boys को feel होता है, लड़कियों को double feel होता है. उल्टियाँ. I know a lot of people who are trying, a lot of women who are trying to better their lives, have a more balanced life, and they go through this. They have to do the ultiya and they have to do these things because they can't, they don't have time to make these healthy lifestyle choices, or their partners make fun of them, right? कि ये तुम क्या खा रही हो, or their family members make fun of them because there's no, उनको पता ही नहीं है ना. ये एक है कि बस माँ के हाथ का खाना बना हुआ है तो ठीक है. If your mom really loves you, she'll make what you want her to make, right? And to be brutally honest, stop getting food made from your mother. You're a grown up. Cook it yourself.
Point.
ठीक है, make it yourself. Do your own things, right? तुम मतलब you not यहाँ पे there's man child syndrome भी बहुत है और mollycoddle करने का भी बड़ा concept है यहाँ पे. So how can you live a balanced life जब सारे ही तेल खा रहे हैं और सारे ही सबको स्टेंट तले हुए हैं और सबके वो. सो आई मीन यू हैव टू टेक दिस इनटू योर ओन हैंड्स एंड यू हैव टू टेक चार्ज एंड यू हैव टू ड्रॉ लाइंस. एंड हमारे लिए ये है कि हम 7 o'clock के बाद हम काम नहीं करते, जो भी हो, राइट? इट्स आवर टाइम. साइड पे हमने काम किया हुआ है. वी डोंट, ठीक है, हमने शुरू में 10 साल लगाए हैं, नो वर्किंग आवर्स, हर तरफ बस काम किया, ये किया वो किया, बट देन वी डिसाइडेड कि अच्छा ये करना है. सो द बैलेंस ऑफ द डे actually comes from the previous night. So if the previous night 7 to 12 goes well, the next day will also go well. So that's what we firmly believe in. तो हम Netflix देखते हैं, take the dogs out, ऊपर ले आए, we do some we feed dogs outside our apartment building as well. उनको हमने neuter किया है, vaccinate किया है, ये सारा कुछ किया है. And हमने मतलब इस तरह की चीज़ें जो कि हमें लगता है कि no one really talks about them and no one really, उनको there are things which are not highlighted. तो हम कोशिश करते हैं इस तरह की चीज़ें करें, not for the sake of Instagram and ये वो, but it's just that you feel good and that's what is important. So you have to chase things that make you feel good. थोड़ा selfish हो गए तो खैर है, but if you're not okay yourself on the inside, nothing's going to work. So you want balance, do everything you can to work out, proper work hours, and respect towards your partner, the person you're living with. All these things, they, for me at least, they come into play कि अच्छा एक balance ज़िंदगी किस तरह गुजारनी है. That's how you get away with being away on the weekends, because 6 days you work, right? If you have good 6 days and एक दिन मिलता है आपको to be with your partner or to do whatever Saturday Sunday, और उस पे मैं जा रहा हूँ concerts कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? So I have to be respectful and okay throughout those 6-7 days, and that's how the person realizes. Now I give her space कि तुम्हारा काम है. She gives me space. ये नहीं कहती कि अच्छा तुम तो जाके 1 घंटा बजा के आते हो, तुम्हें तो पैसे मिल जाते हैं, ये तो क्या काम हुआ. She knows that's not true, right? I have to go 6 hours early because I have to do a sound check. I have to maghazmari सारे microphones and lines and तारे, and it gets hectic and it gets and then अच्छा वहाँ खाना नहीं है, वहाँ ये नहीं है, वहाँ वो नहीं है, ये नहीं, because no one is professional. It will never start on time. But घर का माहौल ऐसा बना हुआ है कि लाहौर में रात के 12 बजे अगर मेरा शो ख़त्म हुआ है और मैं 1 बजे फारिग हुआ हूँ तो मैं वापस घर आऊँगा. I drive back no matter what, because I think that if I spend the night बाहर, नेक्स्ट डे भी फिर ख़राब होता है. और वही वाली बात है, पिछली रात सही गुजरेगी तो आपका नेक्स्ट डे जो है ना सही गुजरेगा. सो घर का माहौल ऐसा हो दैट यू वांट टू कम बैक होम, राइट? वो कैसे बनता है? वो इस तरह बनता है कि यू एंड एवरीवन अराउंड यू इज़ हेल्दी, हैज़ अ बैलेंस्ड लाइफ, एंड दे रिस्पेक्ट व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू डू. सो दीज थिंग्स आर फॉर मी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. या
That was a very well-rounded answer.
yes. I think that सब कुछ करना चाहिए ना. म्यूजिक भी हो, कोई एक हॉबी हो, कुछ एक साथ कुछ रश करना चाहिए, एंड यू शुडंट डू एक्सट्रीम्स ऑफ एनीथिंग. तो और दैट्स व्हाई फिटनेस में जो है ना आई डिडंट गो इनटू steroids, but eventually I think if I want to take it further, maybe yeah, because I told you I've seen the effects, man.
Crazy scene है.
Crazy scene है.
सही है. चलें. With that, we'll be wrapping up this episode of the NSJD show. If you guys have been following us till the end, thank you so much. And if you guys like the videos and you like the content that's been put out there, please feel free to subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the content. Let me know your feedback in the comments. तो फिलहाल हम लेते हैं आप लोगों से इजाज़त, and we'll meet you guys in the next episode. Till then, this is NSJD signing out. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.